Hey, I don't know why I did the finger guns, but
welcome to the Death Battle Cast, the show where we talk about shit nobody cares about, but we're too stubborn to figure it out anyway. Hi, I'm Ben, voice of Wiz. As always, I'm joined by Chad, the Boomstick.
Hi.
And we've got Liam, of course. You know, he's hanging out, doing his writing. And today we are joined by a special guest, the lovely Krysti Pryde.
Hey,
Hello,
what's up? What's up?
What is going on over there in your cool space with all the awesome
In
lights?
my cool space. Just getting ready to absolutely smoke Chad in this debate.
Oh, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
All right, my guy, we'll see.
Can I bring up the tester? No, I'm just kidding.
Wow. If that's what you got to do to win this, by all means.
I will need to. I'm confident.
We are not even a minute in, and the tester's already been brought up.
Dude, I had to bring it up because it was so, like... Any longtime Screw Attack fans, there was a reality TV show for PlayStation called The Tester, and Krysti was a contestant on it, and we did a commentary show, and that was how we first got to know Krysti. It was because you were one of the people who reached out and was like, "Oh, this is funny."
Yeah.
And then I think we met at a convention once that we haven't spoken in forever, and then Sam was just like, "Hey, like, I know you've always wanted to do like a literary debate." I was like, okay. And he's like, do you know about this person, Krysti Pryde? I was like, yes, actually. So it's crazy that after all these years, it's come full circle.
You're like, yeah, I spent weeks roasting her. I know
That's
her
true, I did.
well.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
And now we've ended up here. It's perfect.
Exactly.
Well, it's now time for a little revenge, maybe, because we have a debate as usual. This time we are doing a matchup. We're kind of crossing new territory here by jumping into some novels, some books, some literature. We are doing a community death battle between Gandalf the White versus Dalinar Colon. I believe I'm saying that right.
Dalinar Colon. No, don't say it like colon. It sounds
Colon. Dalinar colonoscopy from the Stormlight archives.
Why?
Yes.
Why did you just half-ass the intro of my character, okay? I know the other one's Gandalf, but come on.
Well, okay, everybody knows Gandalf, and Gandalf, Krysti will actually be arguing for Gandalf, and Chad will be repping Colon. And it's their job to convince the jury to vote for their respective character through any means necessary. And the jury consists of 3 seats. It's going to be me, Liam, and you watching this live. So there will be a poll in the chat in just a little bit. You can vote for Gandalf using #1 if you are on mobile, and Dalinar using #2 if you're on mobile. That's how that works. Unless I got those numbers wrong, and Brian will let me know. But this isn't a courtroom. We're all part of the conversation, so go ahead and chime in. It goes for everybody here. But if you have anything you want to say in the chat regarding Gandalf or Dalinar, let us know. I'm keeping an eye on it throughout the show. All right. So we're going to be...
Warning. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, right. Before we jump into opening statements, I do want to talk a little bit about spoilers, because as far as I understand it, so I'm a Brandon Sanderson newbie. I've only started the Mistborn series. I have not gotten to the Stormlight stuff. So I'm going to get all the spoilers, I'm sure, to this. Whatever, it's fine. That's what Death Battle does, right? Ruin stories for people.
Yeah.
But we are going to probably get into some major spoilers, not just for the Stormlight Archive book series, but the overall lore of the Sanderson universe, whatever it was called again, Chad?
Cosmere.
So just keep that in mind if you're watching this and you are maybe halfway through Stormlight. Stormlight isn't even done, technically, I believe. The most recent book came out, how many years ago?
Last year?
Oh, literally last year.
Time has no meaning anymore.
Yeah, time's not even real anymore.
Because of the pandemic. So
it's still 2019.
I'm gonna try.
Did you guys know that it's August of 2021 right now? How does that make you feel?
Improve it.
Yeah. Horrifying.
God.
What a nightmare.
That's crazy.
I know.
So I'm gonna try and steer away from Rhythm of War stuff, which is the most recent Stormlight book. But yeah, that said, I'm a huge Cosmere fan, and there might be some times where I need to defend Dalinar. based on what he's bonded to, and then how that escalates up the chain of the Cosmere and what that really means. So, at
the same time, this sounds like it might be a good, like, spoilers aside, it might be a good introduction into this universe as well, just like learning all about it.
Yeah, so there's a lot of people who, if you haven't heard me talk about the Cosmere, basically, I'll give you the super high level. Brandon Sanderson had this idea because he thought, what if one character was in every book I wrote inside of this one universe? Which then has led to these amazing series that you could read completely standalone, like Mistborn, Stormlight Archive, Elantris. I can listen to all. Warbreaker. Read Warbreaker.
So good.
So good. And so then that is now, like, you can read all these series standalone and be like, wow, that's like one of the best fantasy novels or series I've ever read. And then, and if you read all of it and you read the novellas, you start realizing that these are all taking place in the same universe, but on different planets and at different times. And there's an overall story being told. And actually, the biggest crossovers that exist in the Cosmere are between Stormlight Archive and Warbreaker specifically, but also there's more Cosmere stuff being talked about, especially in like Oathbringer and Rhythm of War. So anyway, it's really cool, but it's not like obvious. You don't go anywhere to like read about the Cosmere unless you like want to dive deep into the Coppermine wiki. But so like this is stuff you pick up from reading all the different things and piecing the story together. So
luckily, Chad is a huge nerd and knows all this stuff.
Hold on, I can't show him from here.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh my God, that's so sick. Are you kidding me? Yo, you know what's funny is sometimes I Google Stormlight tattoos to see if anybody has good Stormlight tattoos, and most of them, I'm so sorry, are atrocious. But yours are sick. Good job.
Thank you. Yeah, well, so what I liked about it, because I was like, they're both symbols that just like look cool even if you don't know what they are.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you do, then people are like, oh shit, Bridge 4. Oh shit, is that the ATM symbol? You know.
Yeah.
And also, Bridge 4 is like, you know, kind of looking towards the past and overcoming it, and this is looking towards the future.
Oh my God, my God.
I like that. That's actually really nice.
I'm not gonna like Krysti. I messaged our producers like, I don't know if I should say this, but like I was like, I knew you're into like tattoos and into novels. I was like, I was half tempted to be like, whoever loses the debate gets a tattoo of the other one's franchise. So like, if I lose, I would get a Lord of the Rings tattoo, and if you lose, you get a Stormlight tattoo.
All right,
I don't want to put you on the spot on the show.
Oh no, say less. Let's go.
What kind of Lord of the Rings tattoo would you get? Would you get like the like old 50s Eye of Sauron design?
No, I would probably want to do like the broken sword of Gondor right
Oh
here.
yeah, that's
There's
a
like
concept.
Have you seen? Yeah, but have you seen the ones where like the white tree is the handle? Like, the problem is I don't want to do like a tattoo like a bunch of people have, so I want to do like my own version of it.
Anyway. I would get the white tree.
I have a couple Lord of the Rings tattoos that I'll show you after, because they're like very like from the Silmarillion, like deep lore, deep cut. Like,
oh, that's awesome.
Of course. Yeah. So we're all huge nerds.
You're gonna get the Shash brand right across your forehead, right? No,
more golf.
That's what I was gonna say.
All right. Well, let's get into the debate.
Oh wait, audio podcast.
Say, I think that.
Yeah. Go ahead, Liam. Go ahead, Liam.
Liam's on his own time, it sounds like.
Apparently, he cannot hear me, which is great. Okay, so
I was going to say that I think that
something's going on with Liam. I don't know.
He's like breaking
up.
Not real.
Yeah, maybe he's in the future or the past. I don't know.
Super delayed. That's why. So when you hear me,
Liam,
I'm actually you're hearing me from the past. You're hearing past Liam.
Wow. Okay. Well, try to fix your time machine.
Restart your
Liam.
stuff.
I keep doing it.
Meanwhile, let me. I got one more thing I want to say. So the audio version of Death Battle Cast is changing its release time. We will be releasing audio versions on Friday now instead of Thursday. So if you're an audio listener, just keep that in mind moving forward. Check it out on Friday.
And if you didn't know we had an audio version, hey, you can listen to it on the go.
Yep.
It's great for when I do visual things like show off my tattoos. Do that.
Oh, yeah. By the way, that's what he was showing. He's got two. All right. So while Liam is fixing his
Am I still delayed?
time zone, I guess. I have no idea, man. That's up to you.
Okay, cool.
All right. It sounds like you're probably fine. All right. Let's get into this. We're going to start an opening statement from Chad for Dalinar. Let's do it.
Okay, cool. You thought this was nerdy before. All right, let's go. All right. Dalinar Kholin, known as the Blackthorn, has killed countless thousands of people. I can't stress that enough. In his younger days, he and his brother went on a quest to unite all of Alethkar, bring all the different nations together under one singular rule. And if Gavilar, his brother, was the initial brains, Dalinar was the iron fist that got it done. Even before he had shards at his disposal, which are basically like super armor and a bit. Basically, if you had a 8-foot-long lightsaber, you could just summon into your hand in 3 heartbeats. He killed so many people, has been shot full of arrows, been crushed, beaten like a million times, and then now, after that, has reformed all of his ways, become an incredible leader, refounded the Knights Radiant, spawned the Stormfather himself, who is a piece of a god, and has powers beyond your comprehension that we will now get into soon.
Wow, that was fantastic. But you forgot the part where he has a hot wife.
Well, which one?
That's important.
Which one? Oh! Now, when you say hot wife, are you referring to the fact that he accidentally burned his first one alive?
Yeah, but they're replaceable. Why is
I hate when that happens.
Or are you referring to his current wife, who was his sister-in-law?
Fuck, it's like every other week. It's like, shit, again? Really? Fuck.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Okay. So I hope the Stormlight Archive sounds great, guys.
It's incredible. It really is one of my favorite series.
Okay, so we got mass murder who's also into incest. Got it. Cool.
And turned good. It was sister-in-law, so not even.
This is
not good.
Okay. So there's no blood relation. He's just.
What is that? Is there a term for that?
Cheater. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
No. His brother died.
Asshole.
Yeah. I mean, he tried to fight it for a while, but then she was down. So whatever. We don't need to get into those spoilers.
Claudius her. I'm referencing Hamlet.
There we go. There we go. All right.
There you go.
Well, let's get into Gandalf.
Claudius
Krysti,
okay.
You're going to have 60 seconds to...
Let's get into it.
Give us what you think is why Gandalf is going to win.
Okay, so my man's is neither wizard or human. He is a Maiar, which simply means, well, whatever body he inhabits can be destroyed. His spirit cannot. He is older than Middle-earth itself and was sent specifically to help with the efforts against Sauron, which is no small task. He can softly control people's minds to either incite courage or inspire, or he can read their minds and get them to complete tasks. He can talk and understand. He can talk to and understand animals. He's friends with god eagles. That's sick. He can change his appearance at will. He's daddy as fuck. He's got a flashlight that scares the fuck out of anything evil. He's got a magic elven ring that can help resist tyranny, domination, and despair. He can hide from remote observation. It gives resistance to the effects of time. He rides a horse that is known to be as fast as the wind. Can a Rashadium do that? I don't think so.
Wow, that was a lot of information in 60 seconds. That's great. I love it. Holy shit.
Yeah, that's what we should really debate. We should put one of the Rashadiums up against Shadowfax.
Yeah, that would be the sickest battle, honestly.
Horse battle. That'd be awesome.
That's what we're gonna do.
The Rashadium are like super war horses bred to carry people wearing shard plate because it's really heavy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they're like picky as fuck. They're like they won't let anybody ride them. Like you got to be like worthy.
Got it. So
similar to Shadowfax.
I assume Dalinar has one of these and it's special in some way or whatever, or does he just have like a bunch that he could? They're just like
no. Yeah, he has like his one, but then
are they replaceable like his wife?
We don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not gonna. Let's leave the horses alone. Okay. I'll try and focus on important spoilers and things to spoil.
Okay.
So here's this is gonna be so interesting. So Dalinar has reformed his ways, right, from like the bloodthirsty times. Well, first it was just like bloodthirsty times, and that's actually because he was being pretty much infected by a spren called the Thrill, which is basically like bloodlust incarnate. to the point that like think of it as just like if like he was a heroin addict, right? And then like he was given super heroin and did that forever, and then it became like he finally had to like kind of fight against that, and he eventually overcomes it and defeats the concept of the bloodlust itself and imprisons it. Anyway, so he's got a pretty strong will, which is why I think it'll counter. You did mention, Gandalf's mind control abilities and like looking into that. And I feel like, he has the will to resist that if he was able to resist the thrill and Odium's influence for so long.
Okay, so I do kind of agree there, and there's something that we should really take into account when debating against Dalinar is there's like Blackthorn Dalinar, right, who was like pretty fucked up and evil, and then there's like reformed like god tier Dalinar, right, who is like now notorious for like inspiring others and being like the good guy. Yeah,
and in the middle there was drunk Dalinar. If I can point out anything just to his sheer badassery, in the middle of a high storm, which a high storm is like, imagine if a monsoon level storm of lightning came like all the damn time, like so much that your entire civilization was built around this damn storm coming through that would just like obliterate people, and you have to like build your buildings behind shelters and stuff. In the middle of one of these, he's like, goes to eat his food, realizes he doesn't have his knife, and he'd let a friend borrow it. So he just like, while drunk, walks out of the shelter, and everybody's like, what the f are you doing? And he just walks across through the storm into this other shelter, asks his buddy if he has his knife, and the guy doesn't. So he's like, damn. As he's walking back, he sees like essentially, we'll say a Voidbringer in the storm, flips it off, goes back into the main area, and then realizes an assassin is about to kill his brother. So he grabs the knife from the assassin, kills the dude, and then sits down and cuts his steak with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Wildly nonchalant, like it was no problem.
Yeah, that is amazing.
Yeah.
And then everybody looks at him and he's like, "What? I needed a knife." Like,
yeah. So there's definitely like almost two different Dalinars that we could debate against here. So I guess we should focus on let's focus on good Dalinar. I think where he's like powered up for the right reasons. I think that'll be good. Yeah. But I'm interested to kind of talk about where Gandalf's powers come from a god directly, the Valar, and Dalinar's powers kind of come from like his shard blade, which he only has sometimes, and his shard plate, which he only has sometimes, right?
Oh, well, so now that's what's weird now, right? Because, God, I think I can get around this without spoiling some things. He gave up his initial shard blade and shard plate, and now there is a very subtle reference that he's gotten past the fourth ideal and has the ability to summon shard plate, but we don't see it.
Right.
And he has a very interesting relationship with the Stormfather, his bonded Spren. I mean, I have to talk about this. Okay. Shard blades are Spren. Just a heads up. When you bond a Spren, you can then summon them as a shard blade, and all the shard blades that people have been using before are actually the corpses of Spren, which is why it would take like 3 heartbeats to summon them, as opposed to now when you're a Knight's Radiant and you have a bond, you can summon it instantly, and you can also change its shape into anything you pretty much want. The weird thing about talking about reformed Dalinar is that he has these crazy powers now, but only a hint that he can summon his own shard plate, and there was a really weird moment where he had to open a gate, and you have to do that with a shard blade. And the Stormfather, I have to go into the Stormfather too. There's so much shit.
You're gonna have to like really just.
Yeah. Well, like I said before, don't worry about spoilers, especially since like you were like, here's a spoiler. The shard blades are Shen, and I'm like, yeah, sure, that makes sense to me.
Okay, cool.
I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
So, in the creation of the Cosmere, there is a god, one god above all, Adonalcium. Adonalcium, through things that happened that I won't spoil, was shattered. And shards of his essence, all the things that like made up his personality, flew across the universe and landed into all of these planets, which is what creates their magic systems. And then on Roshar, one of them was Honor. Honor was in a battle with another shard called Odium, and eventually ends up dying. But he created the Stormfather. The Stormfather is the dude, like, he's like controlling all the storms. He kind of is the storm that rolls across Roshar like all the time. And so he's like, the Stormfather's like a piece of a god, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So the Stormfather's a piece of Honor. And Dalinar bonded with him. And in fact, there is a line at the end of Oathbringer that makes it seem like because Dalinar got so powerful, he has somehow restored honor / maybe become honor. We'll see. So Dalinar's on the level of like piece of a god himself.
Yes, exactly. Very similar to Gandalf.
Yeah.
All right, a quick little aside to talk about one of our sponsors for this week's episode, Raycon. Raycon is super handy earbuds. If you feel like you're a little anxious getting back into the world again as it is opening up, highly recommend these little babies to get your own hype music going. I mean, they're earbuds, right? They're very small earbuds that basically hide in your ear. Like, it's impossible for people to see them sometimes. I mean, unless they're looking directly into your ear, right? Super useful, super high quality. I use these all the time. That's not part of the script. That's not hyperbole. I legitimately think these are the best earbuds I've ever used, and I highly recommend them. They come with a bunch of different gel tips that you can like switch out based on your ear size and shape. So whatever's the most comfortable for you, they've got it. And they have a 32-hour battery life, so you can have them in your ears all day. Not a problem. To listen to what you want, when you want, for a really long time. So, create your own soundtrack with Raycon. Right now, Death Pedalcast listeners can get 15% off their Raycon order at buyraycon.com/cast. That's buyraycon.com/cast to save 15% on Raycons. buyraycon.com/cast. Thank you, Raycon. Let's get back to the show. Maybe you'll listen to it on a pair of Raycons. Gotcha. Okay.
He has the ability
Double
to...
X in the chat just made a very strange comparison, but I guess it works. Compared it to the reactor bites from the F-Zero series. I don't know if you remember us talking about that.
That's hilarious.
In Captain Falcon versus Johnny Cage, I think was the episode. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
It's a piece of the Big Bang or the creation of the universe that they just get. And in that series, they put it in a car and it makes the car go fast. And
is there a difference?
Yeah, I guess so.
Is there, is there a difference between the gods of like Eru Iluvatar and whoever the god is of this other series? Is there like a difference between them? Because then it might matter, right?
Well,
like,
so they basically
Valar and the Storm Ring or whatever.
Yeah. So what we know is like they have omnipotence, and the powers are kind of depending. Like they can do some crazy stuff, but the kind of caveat to all this is that because it's a piece of a personality that transcends them into a god, that kind of like it has the potential to like rule them, right?
Well, okay, let's break this. Let's simplify this a little bit because I feel like we're getting a little wrapped up in the plot as opposed to what these things are. So the Valar, as far as I'm aware, are not necessarily like gods. They didn't create the universe. They're like
angels,
archangels of the god or whatever.
Because it's Eru Iluvatar is who created Aman, who created the world, and then the Valar are there kind of like running the show, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So they also are like judge, jury, and executioner on who kind of is allowed to get reborn when they die. So when you die as like a Maiar, this isn't like the case for men and stuff. It's reserved for elves and more like immortal type beings in Middle Earth. So if you die, you go to what is called the Hall of Mandos, and you kind of go up for trial to see if your spirit can go back to Aman, right? And so normally they will send you back if you died for like a good cause or the right reasons. If for some reason you did something sinister, you don't get brought back. A good kind of example of this is when Saruman, who's also a Maiar, a wizard, he dies. He was out there doing wildly fucked up shit. He was like not doing like the cool wizard shit he was sent to do. Yeah, he was fully corrupted. So when he got to the Hall of Mandos, they were like, "No, my guy, you were fucking done and dusted. Get the fuck out of here." But when Gandalf fought the Balrog, he died and then came back as Gandalf the White, which is like the highest level of like wizard you can kind of come back as. So now he's like kind of essentially in his final form. But of course they brought him back because he died doing the right thing, and that's like really important for Maiar.
Gotcha.
How long does that process
take?
It's
interesting. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, how long does that process take? Like, would it count during a fight? Like, if it takes like a week or something, then I don't think it would count for our purposes. But if it happens immediately, then yeah.
Yeah, so that's actually an incredibly good question, and it's kind of left up in the air as far as I know. I did a lot of research. I was like going through the books, trying to remember, but there really is no. I mean, you can kind of use context to kind of figure out the time, but I would say based on like what I know and like the context given by Tolkien himself, it's usually a couple days.
Okay,
and
so
the
that would...
the Valar are the ones who put the Maiar back. In the mortal world, right? It's not like they themselves have that ability. So if Gandalf did die in this, he wouldn't be able to just like pull himself back to his body.
Exactly.
Plus,
instantly.
Talking about fighting an enemy that when they die, their soul will come back in a few days. That's very interesting. It's almost like Dalinar fights it every day in the hundreds when he's dealing with the fuse.
I know. Well, in that regard, Gandalf is very similar to a fuse because when he dies, his spirit just kind of fucks off and then comes back a couple days later. Just like with the fuse, they fuck off until the next high storm, which I think is like a longer stretch of time between that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
real quick, I do want to double check. The Stormbringer? Is that what it was called?
Stormfather.
Stormfather. Is Stormfather like a creation god or anything like that, or is he more like the Valar archangel sort of level?
He's closest way I could say this is he's almost like what's left of Honor when Honor was killed. Kind of.
Okay. All right.
That says nothing. That explains nothing.
He is the storm. He has control of the storm.
English.
He can grant visions. Basically, okay. Spren are basically formed because people have
I'm not asking
ideas
for
and
plot.
personify stuff. I know. I'm trying to give you a scale.
I want that. I want somebody to say that about me at my funeral. Liam was what was left of Honor when Honor whatever. All
right. Storm
shotgun
Daddy
into the sky.
Storm Daddy. Can Storm Daddy control time and reality, or is he just Thor?
Reality, no. Time, very slightly. There's a place where they got into an argument because they wanted to save a character, and Dalinar's like, save him, and he's like, I don't want to interfere that hard, and he's just like, do it, and he's like, buy him more time, and so they like kind of give him a little bit of time, but then Dalinar pulls him into a vision, which, by the way, that's another thing that Dalinar can do. If he just touches you, he can pull you into visions. And what used to be, there were like pre-recorded visions basically left over by this god that he could just like replay whenever he wanted. But now he can kind of affect them, and he's getting new visions and learning to like shape that space of whatever it is, which is probably in, I guess, the cognitive realm. And so, yeah, he's probably like, so he could just, like take somebody there and like make him go mad. I don't know.
Well, interesting that you bring up the visions because kind of similar to how you think that Dalinar couldn't be not corrupted, that's the wrong word for Gandalf, couldn't be touched by Gandalf's power. Right? Yeah, influenced by Gandalf's like mind reading or influence, I guess is a better word, general term, his influence. I think because Dalinar now is like a good guy, he is a man of honor, quite literally, that he could not corrupt Gandalf in that way to pull him in the vision. So I don't think that would work on Gandalf either. And I think it's also important to kind of also consider that Storm Daddy, which is canon now, thank you. Storm Daddy is like the source essentially of Dalinar's like greatest power. So in that regard, Storm Daddy is like incredibly important.
Yeah.
Right.
Through his bond as a bondsmith, which is like
all these words.
There are different. Yeah, there's so much terminology. I'm trying to make it everybody, but it's hard.
As someone with like an encyclopedic knowledge of like nerd crap, I love hearing words that I don't know anything what they mean. I love like it's like a fresh new feeling where I'm like, I got no fucking idea what any of this is.
Normally this kind of stuff comes from Liam.
I love it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. I'm
a Night Radiant has bonded your standard spren of some kind, right? So like a wind spren or an honor spren or whatever. So that then gives them power to like, summon it. Depending on how far they get in their ideals, basically they unlock more power the more that they learn how to fix themselves and shit, and it's a whole thing. They can, summon shard blades and get shard plate, and that allows them, depending on what they are, they can learn how to like fly or heal people or slide. There's a bunch of stuff, but like the top tier of that is like, and it's very rare, but it's somebody bonding a high spren and they become a bondsmith. And there's a quote. Hold on, I wrote this down. No radiant is capable of more than you. And that is with basically the definition of a bondsmith. It is like the pinnacle of pinnacles, the heralds. I can't go to the heralds. There's too much shit. But like even in the heralds, who were like the dudes, like preventing calamity from happening, and they were like basically like a team of Jesuses on Earth. The top Jesus man was a bondsmith.
Okay,
that's the best way I can describe it. So
the all Jesus.
Here's the thing, Chad. I need to say this because you've said a lot about Dalinar. You've told us a lot about him. I still have no fucking clue what he can do.
Okay, yeah.
Nothing
like,
whatsoever.
I feel like I have a lot of detail in this plot and like names and things like that. But as far as I'm aware, he's just
Strength,
a dude who has a cool
durability.
horse. Yeah, he's a dude who has a cool horse who killed a bunch of people. That's all I really know that he's done.
Let me talk about the shard blade. So, a shard blade, they're crazy huge. Like 6 to 12 feet long, like swords. But now, technically, if you're bonded directly to this friend, they can be anything you want. You can make it a knife. You can make it a shield. You can make it whatever, a pitchfork. Who cares? Butter knife, whatever.
Like a dragon slayer.
Yeah, if you want to.
Oh shit.
Yeah, you can do literally. Just you think about it, and it'll form that. And they are specifically. What's very interesting about them is they cut people basically in the spiritual realm. So wherever they cut, it severs their soul from that. So like if like my arm was out and somebody sliced through my arm with a shard blade, there wouldn't be any cut, but then the rest of my arm would die. And if a shard blade ever passes through the head or spine at any place, it severs the soul from the body, and their eyes burn out. And nothing can stop it except for a very specific type of metal. If you were to hold up a rock.
If I was to use a comparison.
Yes. Did Liam?
Liam is broken in time.
He's gone again.
Oh, he's time traveling again. I love that for him.
Yeah.
One day we will find out what he was
Liam.
going to compare it to.
Yeah.
Missed you.
I'm broken again, but I know I like everything now, but I'm only because I'm speaking from the past. That sounds like the truth-seeking orbs from Naruto. The idea of like staring at the soul. So I know I'm talking fast.
Oh yeah, actually that is a very good reference, Leo. Yeah.
Okay, now I'm back.
So yeah. Okay, no worries. So they can only be stopped by like another shard blade or like a very specific type of metal. But like any other thing, like if you were to hold up like steel or a rock or anything like that, it would just go through it like it's nothing.
Like it's nothing, yeah. So that would be probably its best weapon against Gandalf, because if you could like land a severe hit on Gandalf, you would send his ass back to the Hall of Mandos, and the Valar would be like, "Fucking again." Again?
Well, does Gandalf have any way to
back.
like? Does he have any way to protect his spirit or like combat spirit attacks or anything like that?
Well, what's interesting, so I was thinking like one of, Gandalf can do a lot of things. He has a sword, Glamdring, but unfortunately I do have to admit that Dalinar's shard blade would cut right through the metal of Glamdring. Yep. Even though it's like, made by elven smiths, it's very good in regards to like Middle Earth craftsmanship, but a shard blade is no joke. It would cut right through it like nothing. So I don't think Glamdring would I don't even think it'd be worth it for Gandalf to even bring that out. But Gandalf can use, he has powers and influence over like nature. He's got like smoke bombs. He can start a fire. He's got his flashlight. And when I say flashlight, I mean like his staff with the light that is to ward off evil, which would work probably on the Blackthorn, which is when Dalinar was evil. But would it work on new Dalinar, who's like a reformed man of honor? I don't know.
Well, if we're talking about the shard blade, you were referring to the shard blade as something related to the Blackthorn, right?
No, again, you want to get back in the weeds here.
Well, I'm just saying, like, that's a thing from his evil time, right?
No, he can technically summon one now. It's
from his evil time. Like, he learned how to use it when he was evil. Is it, related to evil at all?
No, in fact, the exact opposite, because the one he has now would be pure and a piece of God.
Okay, then never mind. I was just checking to see if it was evil, maybe the light would affect it or whatnot. But, okay, so that's pretty clear then. So the light would not repel the shard blade in any way.
We're out of our depth here.
Right. So also, the thing that powers all of this stuff is called Stormlight. It is the resource that everybody uses, right? That Radiants learn how to use.
Stormlight
is,
Archive?
Yeah, exactly. So Stormlight, it comes from the High Storm, and then can stick around after in gems. The better the cut gem, the longer the storm that'll hold Stormlight. Radiants can basically like suck this in, and it gives them superhuman abilities. It powers the abilities that they might be able to do, whether, like just mentioned before, like flying, sliding, like all sorts of crazy crap, healing. It also is a natural healing factor. People have survived like crazy stuff. Like Kaladin specifically has had like his spine severed and crushed and like all sorts of stuff and come back just because of the amount of Stormlight. And so Stormlight also powers Shardplate, which also it puts you on like superhuman level. So Stormlight in itself is like an amplifier and healing factor and allows you to like do magic shit, but then your Shardplate also runs on it, and then that amplifies your stuff by like crazy amount. Like run super fast, leap hundreds of feet, stop a giant kaiju's claw and throw it backwards.
But to that point, if you don't have Stormlight, you're essentially just not viable.
And I was hoping you'd say that because you picked the one character for this debate that can create his own Stormlight. As his ability with the Bondsmith, he can slam open a perpendicularity, which merges the three realms and constantly radiates an infinite, quote, amount of Stormlight as long as he can keep it open. And as it got further, he has now gained the ability to not even have to open a perpendicularity. He is shown grabbing a set of spheres and infusing them with Stormlight.
Okay, so do you think that Dalinar could take on one of the God Eagles? What if Gandalf rode in on one of the Eagles?
Help. You're gonna get, if you're like, oh, we'll bring in one of the God Eagles, I'll be like, cool, then Dalinar will call Kaladin. And let's see that fight in the air.
Okay, you can't call in Kaladin.
Are his weapons metal? Dalinar's weapons metal?
No. Okay. Shardplate is assumed to be some kind of metal, but
could Gandalf
it's not
destroy them?
Forged. It's kind of ethereal.
Gandalf can do his like staff, and then like he caused Saruman's staff to explode.
Shardplate is immune. Shardplate is immune to magic. That's why you can't use.
It's just immune to
get
magic.
Owned. All right. Okay.
So basically, people get access. The magic, they get access to surges that allows them to do different things, right? So. Like, for example, one of the things that Windrunners can do is they can do these lashings that allow to basically be like Ben, I could be like, I use Stormlight to lash your chest to like the ceiling, and then I can like triple, quadruple that lashing, and you would be like, wah! And you just go like whipping up into the ceiling and smash into it, right?
Okay.
And so Shardplate is something about it it's probably because it's actually made of magic. Once you speak the fourth ideal, you're able to then like boom, there's just a suit of armor that came from who knows where, somehow the bond and your soul and the realms, but it's just there now. So I don't know what it's made of. It's assumed some kind of metal, but again, that's how it gets there. Nobody forges it. And so because of that, you can't like lash somebody in Shardplate, like use the Shardplate as like an anchoring point. You would have to like their helm would have to be off or something.
Okay, there's some interesting things, like some like kind of like parallels between Gandalf and Dalinar that I think might be important. Is Gandalf, by rule of the Valar, is not allowed to use the full force of his powers, while Dalinar is essentially working towards the full force of his powers. What with becoming a better person, citing the ideals, what have you. Gandalf's powers are rooted in his joy and like inspiration, like his mirth, so to speak. And Dalinar's powers are like kind of transpired through trauma, right? Which I think is just like interesting context.
Does that technically mean that Gandalf gets more powerful the more pipe weed he smokes?
Yeah, 100%.
Is that like his amp?
Yeah, that's 100%. That's why he keeps that thing on him.
Dude, Dalinar could drink Gandalf under the table, but yeah, Gandalf would hotbox the hell out of Dalinar.
Oh my God.
That is for sure.
All right, I think we got time for just a little bit more.
Yeah, I just don't think. Oh my God, I didn't realize how long this is. I could talk Cosmere for like ever. I just don't think Gandalf has anything against. I just don't think Gandalf has anything against like a blitz from Dalinar. Like
the Shardblade being anti-magic is kind of a big deal, I think.
Yeah.
IMO.
Yeah, the shard plate. Yeah. And
Shard
so then
plate,
the shard
yeah.
blade can just go through whatever.
Wait,
right.
is the
That's
shard
the thing.
plate and the shard blade different?
Different.
So is the shard blade immune to magic?
Could he explode the shard blade?
Could he
No.
heat it up so that he can't hold it, like he did?
No.
Okay.
It's
But
not.
he could heat up like Dalinar's hand, so he drops it, and then if you drop your shard blade, it disappears into like the ether.
Yes, unless you
So-
specifically
Oh,
will
'cause
it
it like
to have a
phases
physical
through.
presence.
Oh, that sucks.
No, it dissipates into
Oh,
mist.
that's really interesting.
When you
Yeah.
let
Do its
go of
own
it, but
dimension.
you can-
thing.
Oh, okay. Oh, can you like resummon it?
Oh my
it's
god,
like-
hairless
so
cat.
it's like- oh my god!
Get your
Hairless
balls
cat!
out of
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, what to say? I was like, the fur usually covers up, some, but it's all there. Caught in 4K.
Oh my god. Oh,
What's the cat's
God.
name?
Behemoth.
Yes, that-
Yeah.
Behemoth. That's amazing.
Behemoth. Yeah.
I love it.
Oh my God.
He rules. Yeah.
Appropriate.
I love it. That's amazing.
Oh my days.
Well, we certainly saw Behemoth there. All right. Anyway.
How appropriate of a
gosh.
name.
All right.
I'm just saying, Dalinar blitzes Gandalf, and there's nothing he can do to stop it. And I do want to say this one thing, because somebody's gonna be like, "Well, actually, his bond with the Stormfather would be like, look, if it
No
came
one
down
would have
to it,
said
and this
that.
was he has to do a kill, right? We've seen it. Like he would forcibly pull the Stormfather into a shard blade to get the kill. Would it probably destroy his bond? Or yeah.
Yeah.
But he'd do it to get the kill.
Obviously.
He would get the kill, but then Gandalf would just come back stronger.
All right, just 1 minute now that you've got earbuds to listen with. What are you going to listen to? Well, that's where our second sponsor comes into play, Amazon Music. Hopefully you like this podcast, but if you want even more podcasts, plus tons of streaming music options, then you should check out Amazon Music, where you can get a lineup of binge-worthy podcasts plus free streaming music. Amazon Music's got over 10 million free podcast episodes, including this one. But they also have thousands of music stations and top playlists to stream for free. And no matter what you're listening to, you can even go hands-free with Alexa to make finding your favorites that much easier. I have tons of music picked out on Amazon Music. I've been using it for a while now. And also, if you want to find some of our Death Battle music, the original stuff we have in our battles, that's on Amazon Music too. Seems like a great way to use it, in my opinion. Wink, wink. So get the app and get free listening anywhere on all your favorite devices. If you've never tried Amazon Music, what are you waiting for? You're going to love it as much as I do. Start listening for free today. Head over to amazon.com/dbcpod. That's amazon.com/dbcpod to stream thousands of music stations and over 10 million podcast episodes for free. Amazon.com/dbcpod. Because it's like Death Battle Cast Podcast, DBCPOD. All right, back to the show.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But,
So that's like,
But Gandalf does
But
have
he
to
would
rely on the
lose.
Valar to
Gandalf
let him
wins
go
the
back, so he can't go.
moral victory.
Yeah, they're just like, wait a minute,
Okay.
wait,
Using
why were you
Calvin
fighting
Hobbes
this guy?
logic.
Oh, for the entertainment of people on the internet? No, you can't go back to Middle Earth. Like,
Well, okay. But before we move on, Krysti, is there anything more to Gandalf that you want to bring up? Any
I
last
don't know. I
things?
guess we could touch on maybe a little bit that he has an elven ring of power. He has Narya, which is the ring of fire. And I kind of talked about the powers in the intro, but he can use it to inspire others. It helps resist tyranny, domination, and despair. It can conceal him. It can hide him from remote observation. And it does give resistance against like the effects of time, but I don't know if this would really help my guy against Dalinar, if I'm to be honest.
I mean, if Dalinar is like emotionally unstable because he's like figuring out how to be a good guy,
Yes.
could
So
Gandalf take
here's the
advantage of
thing.
that? As
Not
fucked
anymore,
up as that
though.
is.
I
Not anymore.
think-
Now he's set. Now he's settled. He worked through it all.
I think Gandalf would absolutely wreck Blackthorn, like easy. But I think it really would be just a never-ending battle, literally, with him being reincarnated and sent back against current Dalinar, who is like a good guy.
Okay. Awesome. Well, the more we talk about this, the more it sounds like these characters are just straight out of an anime shonen show. There's some ridiculous shit being thrown around here, but I love it. All right, so everybody watching, be sure to get in your vote for Gandalf or Dalinar. Again, if you're watching mobile, #1 for Gandalf, #2 for Dalinar. Stew on it a little bit because we'll get to the vote near the end of the show. But right now, it's time to talk about what's going on with Krysti.
Oh.
Yes. So we kind of actually skipped over this at the beginning of the show. I meant to ask, who the hell are you? Like, what do you do,
Yeah,
basically?
because Chad went straight into roasting me from the
wasn't
Twitter.
roasting you. I was saying how
Damn.
we knew of you and originally
I'm
met.
just kidding. I'm just kidding. Okay, so I'm Krysti Pryde. I am, I guess, essentially a known gamer, and currently I am working on a Lord of the Rings podcast called "You Have My Sword," and you can check that out at youhavemyswordpodcast.com. And that's what I'm up to.
That's awesome.
That's amazing. So that's why you're here to talk about Gandalf, because
Yes.
well, as we know, you're clearly
Also-
an expert.
Hot takes on Twitter. You can also follow her for that.
Thank you. Yeah, I am actually, I'm learning now recently in the more events I do and the more podcasts I do and the more content I do, that I am not known for anything other than shit posting absolutely insane shit on
Hell
Twitter.
yes. Good.
So-
oh, I'm gonna look you up right now.
You know,
Yeah.
there are worse things to be known for.
Right.
so-
Yeah. I'm a freelance comedy writer, and so I kind of use Twitter as like a soundboard, if you will. Yeah, and it's chaotic.
Oh, the behemoth has returned. Oh, there he goes.
Oh.
He's back. Love it. Oh my god, that's amazing.
I love just the ears looking over the tower. It almost looked like he almost did like the pinnacle where the Sauron's eye is.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it was like
B, hey, come here.
you don't
Okay.
control me, human.
I know.
I am behemoth.
I am
Look
cat.
at that cat.
So
Lord
funny.
of all
Oh my
my
God.
domain.
Yeah.
How soft is a hairless cat? I have to like wonder. Is it just no
never-
replacement for fur, or is it just
So it
as
feels
soft in a
like
different
when
way?
you freshly shave your balls.
Nice,
that,
cool.
like-
Oh right, yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Neat.
Well, my cat set herself on fire this week, so she's fine. But yours doesn't have to worry about that, so we're good.
Nope. He just has to worry about keeping his ball shaped. Right, dude? All right.
Oh my god. What the hell are we talking about again?
So go check out Krysti's podcast.
Yeah, please check it out. I'm begging you. Follow me on Twitter at Krysti Pryde.
Yeah, well,
That
I
sounds
guess
awesome.
on that note, where can they find You Have My Sword?
You can go to youhavemyswordpodcast.com and links to where you can listen. Get your fucking ass out of here. Where you can listen is all on there. All the socials for the podcast are on there. Links to the Patreon is on there as well. And if you subscribe to my Patreon, you get a link to my Discord, which is somehow more unhinged than my Twitter, despite it just being a place to talk about fantasy. So... But you can find me anywhere at Krysti Pryde, KRYSTIPRYDE.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I have I'm gonna try and convince Chad to start a Cosmere podcast. That's my next thing that I'm up to.
I have legitimately thought about it.
You would be great, honestly.
The thing is,
you're
Wait,
the
go
man for the task for sure.
The problem is like there are people that like know even more than I do. Like there's sometimes I go to the copper mine and I'm like, whoa, like I missed that or whatever. But yeah, but I would love to talk about it and host. Oh my god, I could talk about the Cosmere forever.
Chad, people in chat are worried about your cat. Your cat did survive being set on fire.
Oh yeah,
right?
she's a dumb floofy bastard. She my wife wanted to relax and she was like, I'm like, candles, bubble bath. She was like, I'm just going to chill because we had a really stressful day because Kira cut her finger open. We had to take her to the ER. It's the whole thing. And so she gets everything lit. She's in the bath. And we just start catching up about our day. I'm just leaning into the bathroom talking to her. And my cat always wants to be near me. And next to me was the candle. So her floofy ass jumps up next to me and tries to be like, meh. And then I just see out of the corner of my eye, like just a bright light. And I was like, what the? And I turn over and the tip of her tail's on fire because she tipped it in a candle.
Oh shit!
And then I'm like, I'm like, oh God! Like, it's, I go, which scares her, and then she's like, fuck! And then jumps and just tears ass through the house. And I'm like, thank God she ran so fast it put it out. But I was just like, she ran from the only person that could have saved her. And then I'm just like, oh my God, she would have been like a furry fireball bouncing through the whole house. Like, and she would have died, and then our house might have burned down. And I
Oh
was just
my
like,
God.
And
Oh
so
my
you
gosh.
never think about. So now I'm just like, no candles around the cat ever.
Yo,
But she was fine. She was fine.
So
she just
funny
singed
how
off the tip.
your like wife was like, time to relax, and your cat was like, you fucking thought.
That's our life. Oh man.
Oh yeah,
she's okay.
Krysti, half of this podcast has always been like, what is the what chaos has happened in Chad's life lately? Like, that seems to be the other half.
Yeah, we went through the pandemic with 2 children, 2 dogs, and a cat while we were both working full time, and they couldn't go anywhere. It was stressful.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No kidding. Crazy.
Right. Well, on that great note, let's jump into the community death battle. Find out. All right.
I gotta
everyone's
say,
votes are in.
All right, just real quick. Sorry, Leonovid in the chat. This is why I love our community. Chad's cat fast enough to put out fire.
Yeah.
my cat just gained a stat for him. Love
Faster than fire.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, now we got to keep building up the lore for Chad's cat, and we'll eventually.
I could
have him
probably
against
calc
somebody.
to see how fast your cat would have to be to catch on fire. I think I could actually do that if you guys want. We want to invert the lore there. Yeah.
There we go.
Perfect. All right, let's get into the community death battle and figure out who wins between Gandalf and Dalinar. So, hope everybody's votes are in. We are going to start with the votes sent in on Twitter earlier this week. So let's go ahead and bring up the first answer. I'm assuming we do have answers from the Twitter post. If we can go ahead and bring those
Cross
up.
your fingers. All right, cool. This one comes from Jason Sith. Dalinar lifted a boulder the mass of 10 men, but Gandalf greater than Balrog, greater than Osi, who lifted land of Numenor from the sea.
Right.
Dalinar dodges arrows, but Gandalf casts lightning and tags Balrogs who run from Thangorodrim.
Thangorodrim.
Yes.
Thangorodrim, thank you. To Lambeth, unstop. Sorry, there's so in less than 10 minutes.
Yes.
Dalinar shall not pass. Wonderful.
Yes, and that is a really great point. Jason killed it on this, but here's the thing: is so Gandalf has these powers. He's one of the most powerful beings in Middle Earth, but the caveat is he is not allowed to use the full breadth of his power. It has to be an absolute fucking emergency.
Would this not count as an emergency? He's going to die.
This
if he
should
doesn't
count.
do it.
I think this would count.
Dying is not an emergency because he's immortal. He's reborn.
Oh.
So-
Yeah, argue against yourself. I love this. Keep going.
I'm just trying to be fair, and I think like Dalinar is like my daddy, so like I'm like kind of.
You know what?
I think that limiter would be off for the sake of this, for the sake of a death battle. I think that this would be the emergency is the gods from beyond the fourth wall are demanding he use his full power.
I think
is
Dalinar would have
possible.
him killed before he got put into enough of an emergency to be able to unlock that power, even if it.
Well, Liam's saying that the emergency criteria would not even apply.
Yeah.
Well, no. Why would we? Why? No, because that would it would apply because if like the person was threatened, we could then just say that this counts. But like you can't just rewrite the rules.
Right.
Like he would.
Sort of. Like you could argue that it's similar to like, do you give Sonic the Hedgehog the Chaos Emeralds? Like, technically, there's a limiter there. He has to go find the Chaos Emeralds in order to become supersonic, and then apply that to the battle. And we tend to just give him that. Yeah, we tend to just give him that because that's his maximum power. So theoretically, this could be a similar case where it's like, his maximum power, we do need to explore that. So we would remove that limiter because that's only there to make him less powerful as opposed to, and it's like a plot thing. It's not like a combat thing. It's not in relation to this in particular thing. It's in relation to the story of the Lord of the Rings overall, which
Dalinar's not doing anything to limit him. If Dalinar could had a power that could like limit Gandalf's ability to output power, then that would count. But I think we would just craft the scenario for the fight to be something where
maybe. I mean, it's up to interpretation. Like,
I mean, it depends on the details.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yes.
Summon a high storm and then blitz him. Let's go.
All right. Oh, we still have.
So I will say though, I think Gandalf would not like use his full powers against Dalinar just because Dalinar is like some guy, but he would like Gandalf would more than likely be like sent because he was sent to kind of take care of Sauron and kind of lead the charge against Sauron, who was the big bad, the big inherent evil in Middle Earth during that time, right? So that kind of is a testament to just how strong Gandalf is, that the gods of Aman were like, you're the guy, go figure out how to get Sauron the fuck out of here. And Gandalf, to his credit, did. But he does it in a way that is so roundabout, obviously, with like creating the fellowship and doing all this shit. Like, yeah, could they have just taken the eagles? Yeah, but there's like a ton of there's like a ton that goes into that like he can't do because of like moral discrepancy. But Gandalf would more than likely, avoid kind of encountering Dalinar and is more than likely to go toe to toe with Odium, and Odium would kind of be like a Sauron equivalent.
Yeah. But we remove all that when we put people in a death battle.
Well,
Tolkien rolls in his grave every
it's complicated
every time somebody
stuff to
asks about the
interpretation.
Eagles.
But we do need to get moving. So let's go ahead and bring up the other Twitter response.
All right, this one comes from Buffalo Eggs. Just wanted to say thank you for doing this matchup, especially since Stormlight Archive has no physical media. This will help from the gateway to bring in more novel characters to the death battle. Novel stands unite. Didn't even make an argument for Dalinar. I don't need it.
Gandalf wins.
They just argued for
Lord's
books.
work.
There's just no argument for Dalinar, apparently. I guess.
Yeah, who will win, Dalinar or Gandalf? Books, sir.
So let's go ahead and
Books
see
will
what
win.
you all voted on the Twitter poll earlier this week and see where we're starting.
I wonder. Yeah, there we
Wow,
go.
okay.
Okay,
No
Gandalf.
surprise. No surprise.
Gandalf
Okay.
kind of stopped
Whoa.
88%. Now,
Yeah.
that might just be because Gandalf is obviously more well known thanks to the
Right.
movies.
Dalinar who? Yeah.
But that still means we have one vote for Gandalf, and there are 3 votes left. Me, Liam, and you watching this live. So,
Yeah.
Liam, who are you voting for?
Okay, so this is interesting. I think that a lot of great points were brought up for Dalinar, but because I'm unclear of I'm a stats purist. Because I'm unclear of that right now, I think that scaling to Osi. Is it Osi? Is that how it's pronounced? Osei? The Maiar
Oh
of
yes,
like, the
yes,
oceans?
yes. The god, yeah.
Being able to lift,
He's one of the Valar.
Yeah, being able to lift Numenor. Oh, is he one of the Valar or a Maiar?
He's a Valar.
He's a Valar.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. Then I don't know if Gandalf would scale then. Okay, then never mind. I'm gonna go Dalinar. I thought Osei was.
I mean, I might be incorrect.
I'm gonna check because
I mean, based on that
would,
comment, it sounds like he's a Maiar.
Yeah,
'cause
I
Gandalf
think
would
that-
be the highest of the Maiar as the white, right?
Yeah. Oh, he's in the service of Ulmo. Ulmo is the Valar.
Is the
I
okay?
believe. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, never mind. Okay, so I think because he scales to that, I've seen calcs for that. That's like country level. It's like teratons. That's really powerful. I don't know if Dalinar has showed anything that powerful. So I'm gonna go Gandalfarino.
Okay.
What?
Bing, boom.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, a high storm can like level
a high-
an entire.
Well, all right.
Country, but
We
that's
got
fine.
2 votes for Gandalf.
Okay.
I think I am leaning towards Dalinar. I think the amount of abilities you've talked about and the weapon in particular seems like it's going to be difficult for Gandalf to counter, even with that sort of power.
Mhm.
I'm not entirely sure
Yeah, I don't know.
right now, based on what I know. That's sort of what I'm leaning towards. So we got 2 Gandalf, 1 Dalinar. Could be a tie. Depends on what you guys vote in the chat.
Don't forget Stormlight and infinite energy, and he can keep sucking it in, which means
Well,
he can keep healing and get superpowered.
Votes are already in, Chad. Let's go ahead and see what y'all voted for.
Does Liam stab me in the back? That's fine.
Hey, that's
Gandalf!
Ah!
67% to 33.
That's
Gandalf
hilarious.
wins.
I thought I was just giving a pity Gandalf vote. That's what I thought. But,
No, you screwed me.
Wow. Okay.
All right. So we got Gandalf wins 3-1.
Good to know that even the people listening will just vote for who they know better. As opposed to
No.
who is the argument for Dalinar.
Because we had so much information about Dalinar. I feel like,
Yeah.
well, it's weird. There was so much
And I
information that I
barely
feel like I know him
started.
very well right now, and I also have no idea who
Chad
he is.
did an amazing job of arguing and was still screwed over by the vote. A feeling that I know all too well.
Oh, really? Oh, really? Well, on that note. No, I also think, Krysti, you did a very good job
you.
establishing all this stuff, especially
I
since
love
like
not knowing what the fuck people are talking about. It's
people
great.
know Gandalf from the movies, but the movies, I think they do a very good job of portraying Gandalf, but the movies aren't trying to explain how Gandalf's powers work.
No, that's lame.
They don't even explain how he comes back. They're just like, he fell asleep and woke back up and he was Gandalf the White. Yeah.
This analysis that
doesn't
we
matter.
do is like, it's like the lamest, most like, no, that's not the point way of analyzing these characters.
Yeah.
Tolkien doesn't give a shit. He's just like, Gandalf's really is as powerful as he needs to be for the story. And Tolkien's correct. We're the fucking Philistines here.
But it was very good hearing all that from you. You did a very good job explaining all that, because I know that's just as complicated as all this crazy Stormlight.
Yeah.
It really is, because it's hard to be like he's one of the strongest, if not the strongest person on Middle Earth, but he's not allowed to be.
Yeah.
Unless it's like it's like what?
Oh my god! All right. Well, thank you so much, Krysti, for being on the show today. This is a lot of fun.
Thank you guys so much. This was great. And you guys can catch me and Chad on our Cosmere podcast. No big deal. It's fine.
Let's talk about it. We'll see.
Let's talk about it.
We'll definitely check out
the Stormlight series. And
we'll definitely check out You Have My Sword to learn even more about Lord of the Rings shenanigans. And thank you all for voting and joining us for this episode of Death Battle Cast. As always, be kind to others, be kind to yourself, be awesome, and we will see you next week.